6:15 p.m. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by J. Yogaraj and read by Mario Vijayavardhana. The headlines. President Ranil Wickremesinghe felicitated on completing 50 years at bar. The President says ethnic, religious issues and other genuine concerns of the people could be put behind the past to prevent a breakup of unity and integrity of the state by the 75th independence anniversary of the country. The Prime Minister points out that discipline, interest and dedication are important for government employees to make the venture a success. The Finance State Minister says the loss-making government institutions will not be privatized, but they will be restructured. The Agriculture Minister says the government plans to stop importing rice and maize in the future as the country produces enough and sufficient crops to meet the local demand. Minister Harin Fernando says new mobile applications for safety of tourists. In news overseas, Russia says it won't accept oil price cap and is preparing response. In sports news, World Cup 2022, Lionel Messi keeps Argentina dreams alive after scoring in 1000th game. The ethnic, religious issues and other genuine concerns of the people could be put behind the past to prevent a breakup of unity and integrity of the state by the 75th independence anniversary of the country. As discussed by the members of parliament, if the attorneys at law in the country would assist in this process, this task could be achieved, President Ranil Wickremesinghe said. He made this observation addressing the ceremony organized to felicitate the President, Ranil Wickremesinghe, on completing 50 years at bar held at the Lotus Hall at the Shangri-La Hotel in Colombo yesterday evening. He said further that it is not an easy task, but neither it is an impossible task. He added that this task cannot be achieved merely through the efforts of the politicians, but the support of the lawyers is vital in this endeavor. He said apart from the economic challenge, there is a greater challenge where the younger generation is questioning the entire system. He added that now the country has the option of letting the wounds of the past heal or letting it grow further. The parliamentarians have taken a decision to see how best to resolve the ethnic differences and work towards reconciliation, issues of religious differences, and all the other genuine concerns of the people without breaking up the integrity and unity of the state. He also said that if all the attorneys at law join hands, all the major problems could be put behind us and all communities could come together as children of one mother as the country celebrates its 75th anniversary of independence next year. He added that it would also give all the opportunity to understand and appreciate each other's views and prepare a constitution which would enshrine the freedoms the people enjoy but also allow for constitutional governance. Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena points out that discipline, interest and dedication are important for government employees to make the venture a success. The Premier made these remarks at the inaugural ceremony of the Colombo District Secretaries Championship Cup 2022. The sports festival commenced on the 2nd at the National Youth Council premises in Maharagama. Minister Susil Premajan says although the Sri Lankan students are up in education and literacy knowledge when compared to the other small countries, the students' application of that knowledge and wisdom into practical situations is not at a satisfactory level. Students' knowledge is an important component for the revival of the economy. The minister also said the government plans to introduce a technology subject in the future for the GCE O-level examination. Technology is an important subject for the younger generation, the minister added. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The Minister of Tourism and Lands, Harin Fernando, says that a new mobile application app will be introduced for the safety of tourists coming to Sri Lanka while promoting the tourism industry. The Minister stated this at the Ministerial Consultative Committee on Tourism and Lands held recently at the Parliament. The Minister said this while explaining the steps taken and which are expected to be taken regarding the promotion of the tourism industry in the country and added that he hopes to use this mobile application in January. The minister further explained that through this application, tourists can be allowed to check their location if they wish, and if they get lost or need to take home safety measures, they can take steps towards it. The minister also said that for the safety of tourists, a tourist police team will be stationed at every beach with tourist attractions. Harin Fernando also mentioned that it is planned to bring 1.5 million tourists to Sri Lanka, especially in the year 2023. Minister Mahinda Amaraveera says the government plans to stop importing rice and maize in the future as the country produces enough and sufficient crops to meet the local demand. The minister made these remarks while addressing a function in Anuradhapura today.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Veda Mahatmya.
Finance State Minister Ranjit Siamalapitiya says the loss-making government institutions will not be privatized, but they will be restructured. The restructuring process will be carried out with the support of intellectual groups. The State Minister made these remarks after inaugurating a work plan in Ruwanvalla today.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Veda Mahatmya.
Watch Life is brought to you by...
Celebrate Christmas and New Year with lots of CIB discounts. Valuable gifts with bank discounts till 31st of December. Come to CIB today.
The Central Bank of Sri Lanka CBSL announces that speculation that expatriate Sri Lankans' remittances to Sri Lanka have been taxed and forcibly converted into Sri Lankan rupees is completely unfounded. There are no taxes on remittances, and expatriated Sri Lankans are free to hold such remittances in foreign currency forms in their bank accounts or convert such remittances into Sri Lankan rupees at their discretion, the central bank tweeted. Expatriate Sri Lankans continue to enjoy the current incentives without any change whatsoever, the CBSL further said.
Celebrate Christmas and New Year with lots of CIB discounts. Valuable gifts with bank discounts till 31st of December. Come to CIB today.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of...
We give you the strength to rise higher and higher.
Never step back, but always march forward.
Empowering you to reach greater heights. People's Leasing, the trusted leader.
In world news headlines, Russia says it won't accept oil price cap and is preparing a response. The UK could use military to ease strikes, Conservative chairman says. India plans federal oversight of all real money online games. Russia will not accept a price cap on its oil and is analyzing how to respond, the Kremlin said in comments reported on Saturday in response to a deal by Western powers aimed at limiting a key source of funding for its war in Ukraine. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov said Moscow had made preparations for Friday's price cap announcement by the group of 7 nations, the European Union and Australia, the Russian state news agency TASS reports. Britain's government is looking at bringing in the military to help keep public services running if key workers, including in the state-run National Health Service, take strike action, the chairman of the governing Conservative Party said today. Britain is already grappling with industrial action in a range of sectors, but now faces strikes by thousands of nurses in England and ambulance workers in England and Wales who plan to walk out later this month over pay and conditions. India's planned regulation of online gaming will apply to all real money games after the Prime Minister's office overruled a proposal to only regulate games of skill and leave out games of chance, according to a government document and 3 sources. The much-awaited regulations are seen shaping the future of India's gaming sector that research firm Red Sea estimates will be worth $7 billion by 2026, dominated by real money games. Tiger Global and Sequoia Capital have in recent years backed Indian startups Dream 11 and Mobile Premier Leagues, popular for fantasy cricket. And now the main points of the world news segment once again. Russia says it won't accept oil price cap and is preparing a response. The UK could use military to ease strikes, Conservative chairman says. India plans federal oversight of all real money online games. That was world news, and now in development news. Saudi Arabia's ambassador of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia to Sri Lanka, Khalid Hamud Nasser Al-Islam Akhtani, has stated that the majority of Sri Lankans are among the highest paid foreign employees in Saudi Arabia. During a discussion held with Speaker Mahinda Appadevardhan in the Parliament, the ambassador has emphasized that skilled employees from Sri Lanka have numerous employment opportunities within Saudi Arabia. Ambassador Hamud further highlighted that he has proposed the Minister of Labour Manushan Anakara to establish a vocational training centre for providing training for Sri Lankan labourers.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of...
Amidst all challenges, we will rally around you and advance.
In the face of hardships, let's stand strong together.
Empowering you to reach greater heights. People's Leasing, the trusted leader.
In sports news, in soccer, on his 1,000th appearance in professional football and his 100th game as Argentina captain Lionel Messi stepped up again to keep his country's World Cup dream alive. In his 5th World Cup, the magician finally scored his first ever World Cup knockout goal as Argentina took another step to ending their 36-year wait for World Cup glory with a 2-1 second round win against Australia. After an over opening half hour, Messi intervened to open the scoring, and from there it was mostly plain sailing at an absolutely bouncing Ahmed bin Ali Stadium until a late goal from the gallant Australians gave Argentina one almighty scare.
The fastest way to earn the highest interest, an interest rate of 22% in 4 months. NSB, the safest place for your money.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
The Commercial Bank of Ceylon has announced that its 10 billion rupee debenture issue closed within hours of opening after it was oversubscribed on opening yesterday in a noteworthy vote of confidence from investors. The debentures to the value of 10 billion rupees are being issued to further strengthen the Tier 2 capital base of the bank, bridge maturity mismatches in the assets and liabilities portfolio of the bank, and raise funds for the expansion of the bank's lending portfolio, especially in segments such as small and medium enterprises and export-oriented industries in the interest of supporting the national economy.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
The fastest way to earn the highest interest, an interest rate of 22% in 4 months. NSB, the safest place for your money.
And now for economic news, the Central Bank of Sri Lanka CBSL says that Sri Lanka's earnings from tourism increased to $107.5 million in November 2022. Accordingly, the total earnings from the tourism industry from January to November 2022 is $1,129.4 million according to the CBSL. In October 2022, tourism earnings stood at $75.6 million in comparison to $54 million in September 2022. That was economic news, and now for the weather report. The Met Department says several spells of showers in the northern, eastern and north central provinces. Showers and thundershowers will occur elsewhere during the afternoon or night. Fairly heavy showers above 75 millimeters are likely at some places in the western and Sabaragama provinces and in the Galla and Mathura districts. The general public is kindly requested to take adequate precautions to minimize damages caused by temporary localized strong winds and lightning during the thunder showers. This weather report was issued at 5:30 p.m. Further details can be obtained by visiting the official website of the department. Meanwhile, the international weather forecast website AccuWeather.com reports that the day's weather will be bright with occasional showers. Today's daytime temperature will be around 28 degrees Celsius. There will be light showers in many places in the Colombo district in the night. Tonight's temperature will be around 26 degrees Celsius and there will be scattered showers in select spots late in the night. The ground temperature will be 27 degrees Celsius at the time of this news broadcast. The air quality index AQI is 33, which shows a bit of a poor air condition in Colombo. The air quality is generally acceptable for most individuals. However, sensitive groups may experience minor to moderate symptoms from long-term exposure. That was with the report, and now the headlines of this news broadcast once again. President Ranil Wickremesinghe felicitated on completing 50 years at bar. The president says ethnic, religious issues and other genuine concerns of the people could be put behind the past to prevent the breakup of unity and integrity of the state by the 75th independence anniversary of the country. The Prime Minister points out that discipline, interest and dedication are important for government employees to make the venture a success. Finance State Minister says the loss-making government institutions will not be privatized, but they will be restructured. The Agriculture Minister says the government plans to stop importing rice and maize in the future as the country produces enough and sufficient crops to meet the local demand. Minister Harin Fernando says a new mobile application for safety of tourists. In news overseas, Russia says it won't accept oil price cap and is preparing a response. In sports news, World Cup 2022, Lionel Messi keeps Argentina dreams alive after scoring in 1000th game. That concludes this news broadcast.